the other thing, too, we haven't mentioned, you know, the cornerbacks were really beat up last year, too, and they were down to bare bones at that position. So I think if you get Vasher and Tillman back playing strong, and Brown, I mean, all of a sudden you've got the makings of an outstanding secondary to go with a very good front. Obviously, you've got a linebacker in the middle who makes a difference, and then you've got good pass rush, I think, without a doubt, from not only Tommy Harris, but Agunlier and Alex Brown and Mark Anderson on the other side.
No one here, I'm sure, a year ago thought that Lance Briggs would be wearing a Bears uniform at this time, today, this year. How good is the defense with Briggs still there? I mean, how much better off is this team with Briggs still around?
Well, I think it's a lot better. I think Jamar Williams is an okay player. I think he could fill in good. He's a good fourth linebacker. And if someone gets hurt, he could fill in until the other person comes back. And he may be a good linebacker in the future, but Briggs, you know, talking about Mike Brown, there's a communication element with those guys in Urlacher that are around the ball. They know they got that side of the area. Mike Brown's hovering around. They get guys talking. They got things getting together. There's a kind of like a momentum with those guys in the lineup. And Briggs, yes, is the answer to your question.
Hub?
He's a real good football player. I think Lance Briggs benefits a lot more from playing next to Brian Urlacher than Brian Urlacher benefits from playing next to Lance Briggs. And I think Lance lacks a little bit in the character and mental side of the game that Urlacher and Brownie and Nate Vasher and Peanut Tillman bring to you. So as a complementary part, he's another Pro Bowler out there. You know, guys, at the end of the day, the key is the defensive ends. Because if you want to play this defense, you've got to rush the passer. And they made a huge mistake giving Alex Brown's job to Mark Anderson. They've fixed that now, which makes them both better, because maybe now again Mark Anderson can be the double-digit sack situational rusher that they need. Alex Brown gives you an anchor on the right side. Wale Agunlier was probably their best defensive player the last 6-8 weeks of the season last year, and it was the first time in 3 years that he did that. And so if he gives you another season like that, all these ifs, but if all these ifs come together, they are going to be dominant on defense again.
Between the two, Anderson and Daniel Manning started 29 games last year, and now both are probably going to be in reserve roles. Is this the right thing to do?
I think it is, although I also like to see these things decided in training camp and not just in the off-season. But I think one of the things I talked with Lovie Smith about a few months ago, he wants to see more competition this training camp, and I think that's a really good thing. You know, he doesn't want to say, as he said in the past, this guy is the starter going in. And I hope that he follows through with that and lets these guys go out there and decide the jobs on the field.
I know you said it. I'll ask it again. Healthy, is this, again, a top 10 defense in the NFL? And I'll ask all three of you.
Yes.
Yes. I think they could be #1 healthy.
Really?
Healthy, they could be #1.
Wow, I can't wait to hear how far you think this team will
You
go.
know what,
possibly with the
number one
defense.
isn't necessarily the goal, though. The goal of this defense has got to be takeaways. Right. That's what they have to do in order for this team to be the best it can be.
And pursuit and tackling, not tickling guys.
Hey, gang signs in NFL games? Are you kidding me? That's next on the round table.
Yeah, a friend of mine told me to throw the tickling one in there.
You're watching CLTV's Sports Page.
Is your old AC doing more chilling out than chilling you? Are your summer energy bills rising faster than the mercury? Worried about losing your cool? Don't sweat it. Call the King. King Heating and Air Conditioning. From a cool $2,100, you'll get a frosty, high-efficiency Carrier air conditioner out of the box and installed. So do the wave. The wave bye-bye to high energy bills. Call the King. King Heating and Air Conditioning, 708-687-6898, and enjoy the coolest home on the block.
Hi, I'm Mike Gilkey, here for the Gilkey Window Company. You might think a lifetime warranty is the best warranty on new windows, but most lifetime warranties are only good as long as you own your home. Our Gilkey lifetime warranty is transferable to the next owner. That's a real asset when you go to sell your home.
Don't repeat last winter's sky-high utility bills. Replace 4 or more windows and we'll pay you up to $500 towards your December utility bill.
You made the right choice in choosing Gilkey. That's my pledge to you.
Boom all you want is stuff. Every time you hit somebody, pow, they went, ooh!
Yeah, I'd love to fight in Chicago, you know?
Chicago's a great town. Jim, I want to thank everyone at CLTV. It's going to blow people's minds, man. Yeah. Combat wire.
Don't don't forget, if you missed the beginning of the show or you just want to see the show in its entirety again, we replay the show tonight at midnight. All right, released on Thursday was news that the NFL is stepping up its monitoring of on-field player activities to ensure no one is flashing the hand signals of street gangs. Did you hear that this was happening in games?
Well, I don't know that the league is saying it's happening in games. What happened is Paul Pierce did something during a game with the Atlanta Hawks, and the NBA fined him $25,000. Mike Pereira, the director of NFL officiating, said, you know, we've been worried about this. We should look into this, too. And that's all they're doing right now is looking into it. I don't know enough about gang signs to know if it's going on or not.
So then nothing to worry about right now?
No, I don't think so. I think there have been incidents in the past where someone has done something that has kind of drawn the attention of the league office, and maybe they've looked at it twice and talked to the player and said, hey, you can't do this. Maybe in the past they'll look at it a little bit more seriously and threaten some fines or actually deliver some fines.
I know that there's been some talk of reducing the preseason schedule by maybe 2 games and then adding 2 games to the 16-game regular season schedule. Do you think it will happen? Do you like the idea?
Well, it's a great idea, and I think it will happen, but it's not going to happen until the new CBA is agreed upon.
Which is when?
Well, that's another question that no one can answer, but we're at least probably a couple years away, probably more than that. But I think eventually this is a great way to get more revenue into the game, which is something that is necessary to keep both sides happy, and I believe it will happen.
Well, I think it's a great idea, too. I think 2 of the preseason games are a waste. I was looking at a schedule the other day from '77. The Bears played 7 preseason games. You know, I mean, that's unbelievable. I mean, you take away what you do, you bring more money, and that's what the whole idea is. Obviously, the first game is not going in. You can play your starters 1 quarter. Last game, it's mostly your 3rd and 4th stringers. So if you play 2 games, I like it a lot better.
You like it too, Hub?
Well, I think Roger Goodell's been quoted as saying 17-3. Logically, it'll be 18-2. It has to happen. It's the only new TV revenue out there, but it can't happen, as Danny says, until there's a new CBA.
Our experts give us their big story out of Bears training camp and the Bears' 2008 regular season record in our prediction segment next here on the Sunday Night Roundtable on CLTV.
Yeah, I collect a lot of cards.
Some people don't like to make a commitment. They'd rather play the field. Billy D says there's nothing wrong with keeping your entertainment options open. AT&T's Advanced TV has a fine little DVR that records up to 4 different shows at once. Might be a little bit more action than you can handle, but it'll be fun finding out. Here's to you, player.
Get DVR included and $100.
Watching CLTV's sports page. Now there's a way to turn your wasted space into your family's favorite place in about 2 weeks with the Owens Corning Basement Finishing System. Finishing fact number 27. The Owens Corning Basement Finishing System features insulated walls, which help absorb sound and reduce heat loss, so your new room becomes a warm, peaceful retreat when other areas of your home are anything but. Call 1-800-BASEMENT now for a free video plus a free design consultation. It's a fact. Nobody knows basements better than Owens Corning.
For coming on the show, the guys are going to one of the 4 Harry Carries out there, 773 Holy Cow for reservations. You've got to hit the Harry Carries in Wrigleyville. It's terrific. Hub, I know you go to Harry Carries. What do you like when you go there?
You know, I hate the chicken Vesuvio. I'm not big on the peas with the Vesuvio, but the chicken Vesuvio is so good I do it anyway.
Yeah, the chicken Vesuvio is outstanding. I've had it as well. Also, the guys are going to the Rosebud restaurants. You pick. The Carmines, Rosebud on Rush, Rosebud on Taylor. Our man Butch is going to one of the Rosebud restaurants. Danny, you're an Italian.
Oh, yeah.
What should he get when he goes to one of the Rosebud restaurants?
You know, you got to go for some, you got to get some kind of pasta.
Oh, come on, I'm
some
a steak guy.
No.
I want to hear it mooing out of the kitchen.
Although I'll say this, you know, the Rosebud
Steakhouse.
Yeah, they've got some great, best burger in Chicago, they were voted.
You're right. It's called Rosebud Prime, and it's on Walton.
All right.
Make sure you take it. Check it out. The Rosebud Steakhouse. Rosebud Prime, I think, is on Dearborn.
When I eat my steaks, you better watch your hands.
Well, speaking of steaks, these guys are also going to one of the Gibson's restaurants. You like going to Gibson's, Dan? I know you're always looking for a free meal. Will you take your wife, Colette? All right, take her out for dinner once, will you?
You got it.
You like going to Gibson's?
I got to start working out again now. You know, got to burn all this off.
WR Chicago cut, best steak in the city again at Gibson's. Gibson's on Rush or Gibson's in Rosemont. All right, prediction time. Take it away, Hub.
I don't want to cop out on you guys, but I see 2 scenarios, and I don't know which way we're going, and I see no middle ground. all the ifs we said on defense, and if Forte and Williams are the real deal, if they can run the football and the defense is healthy, I see a rerun of the 05 season with Kyle Orton at quarterback, 10-6, 11-5, losing the first round of the playoffs. They don't stay healthy on defense, it's going to get ugly. 5-11.
I think there's probably too many ifs for me to feel real comfortable with this team, and when there's a lot of ifs, I usually end up seeing a team that has a lot of problems. So I see the Bears as maybe a 6 or 7 win team.
Well, I actually got a couple predictions. One is I think they're going 9-7, miss the playoffs by 1 game with an extra loss in December. I see Jay Blanc and John McDonough coming in, taking over the Bears and changing them around. I see Fresno State's Ben Jacobs, linebacker, getting drafted in 2010. And I see Dan Hampton's 99 getting retired.
Where did you get Ben Jacobs from?
Ben Jacobs is my buddy's son, who's the starting linebacker at Fresno State. He's a redshirt sophomore.
Butch, nice job. Danny, thanks for coming on out.
My pleasure.
Always a pleasure to see you. See you next Sunday, same time, same place, same roundtable.
The doctor